This time next year, Alicia said, you will hold a son in your arms. Brothers and sisters, think back to your youth and all the many things you dreamt of being and having. We all have dreams of what our life is to be in the future. Someone special to love and who loves us back. An enriching and productive career. Special and close friends. Fulfillment of our precious gifts. Travel adventures, marriage, children, and for some of us, all of the above. For many of the women in the Old Testament, having a son was almost always up near the top of that list. This son would be a blessing to her and her husband, carrying on their heritage as well as being a source of care and protection in their old age. And how downcast were those same women who at first could not bear children, such as Sarah, the mother of Isaac, Manoah's wife, the mother of Samson, Hannah, the mother of Samuel, Elizabeth, the mother of John the Baptist, and of course the Shunammite woman of today's first reading. Of course, as we know, their patience and faithfulness to God's purpose, even when they didn't know it, ultimately saw the realization of their dreams. Fast forward 900 years or so to today's gospel, and we find Jesus turning conventional Old Testament hope and wisdom on its head. He tells the 12 chosen and appointed apostles that they must leave behind the notion of mother and father and sons and daughters. Long-term security was no longer to be part of their planning for the future. With the gates to eternal life soon to be opened, the saving of their eternal life now meant not having children to look after them in their old age, but following Christ, and in doing so, risk losing their mortal lives. Brothers and sisters, a faithful follower of the God of Israel was no longer one who waited in hope for a son for his old age, but one willing to die young for that same God. This same God now said, anyone who does not take his cross and follow in my footsteps is not worthy of me. Jesus' life, death, and resurrection was to put to death the hopes and expectations of old. But what does this mean to all of you here today in the pews? Did Jesus' words in the gospel of today apply to each and every one of us? Well, to answer that question correctly, we need to look at the context of today's gospel. Chapter 10 of Matthew's Gospel is called by modern scholars the Missionary Discourse. The discourse is specifically addressed to the 12, the apostles chosen by God as leaders of the Christian community. As such, it applies primarily to them and those that succeed them or share in their specific calling or ministry. So take a deep breath. Christ probably isn't calling you all to physical suffering and martyrdom for the sake of the kingdom. To go to the ends of the earth like the 12 or the missionaries throughout the centuries who forsook married life and the comforts of a wife or husband in the case of the numerous female orders. Nevertheless, as Christians, along with your day-to-day family and work duties, you've all been sent to go out and proclaim the gospel in season and out. And given that Christianity is definitely out of season now, doing such may bring you some unexpected pain. But it is not only pain that you will receive in accomplishing your Christian duty. As the first reading in the Gospel of today shows us, there are those who are called to walk to the ends of the earth, like Elisha and the apostles, and there are those who are called to support, house, clothe, and feed them along their journey. And the promise we see realized in the first reading of a child for the Shunammite woman is also promised by Jesus to those who support his missionaries. Anyone who welcomes you welcomes me. Anyone who welcomes a prophet will have a prophet's reward, and anyone who welcomes a holy man will have a holy man's reward. So let me thank you all, especially today, dear lay Christian brothers and sisters, for your vital support to those who are sent out to the ends of the earth. You're like the supply lines during war. If not for your provision of the necessary supplies along the route of the army of God, the army is as good as defeated in its attempts to repel the enemy. The apostles, their successors, and their non-ordained missionary helpers, both women and men, are sent out on mission to the ends of the earth. And you, the people of God, are charged with welcoming them, feeding them, watering them, supporting them. So the church continues to encourage you all to be like the Shunammite woman, through simple acts of charity towards the bishops, priests, nuns, and monks sent out by God. And if you do this, like the Shunammite woman, you too next year may behold, in surprise, the answers to all your seemingly impossible requests.